Veterans, do you understand why the VA denied your compensation claim? In today's video, I'm going to provide some reasons and some context for those reasons. But most importantly, I'm going to let you know where you can find those denials in your rating decision and why it's important to know exactly why they denied that claim. Make sure you stick around. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne. I got a video for that Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Today's video: why was your VA claim denied? Do you understand the denial? Do you know where to find the denial in the rating decision and on a rating code sheet? That's what we're going to cover today. But before we get into that, a word from one of our sponsors. Veterans, if you're filing a VA disability claim for a mental health condition, you know the process can be frustrating and overwhelming. Having the right evidence can make all the difference. That's where Tampa Counseling and Wellness comes in. They specialize in providing mental health DBQs and Nexus Statements, helping veterans establish direct service connection for mental health conditions or secondary service connection due to issues like tinnitus, migraines, or back problems. The team at Tampa Counseling and Wellness is passionate about supporting those who serve. They understand the VA process and are committed to helping you get the benefits you've earned. If you need expert support for your mental health claim, don't go at it alone. Contact Tampa Counseling and Wellness today. Okay, everyone, we're going to get into denials. If you're like me, you don't like denials. I had several conditions that were denied when I was going through this claims process. But one thing I made sure to do was read the narrative in the rating decision and have a full understanding before I decided to do a supplemental claim, but back then it was called a reopen, or if I decided to go to an appeal. A lot of veterans fail to read the entire narrative section of the decision section in the rating decision to confirm exactly why they were denied. So hopefully what I give you today helps you understand why you were denied so you can make a better informed decision on your next steps. Let's get into it. Slide number one. Here in slide number one, take you out to the M21-1, and this citation is organizing the decision section. So what they're saying to the rater is, hey, when you do a decision, this is how you are supposed to build it. Organize the decision section in a logical manner, ensuring to accomplish the following. All right, address all the issues. If the rater fails to address all the issues, that is an error, okay? Place decisions in the following order. Awards. Awards meaning, did they award you a spouse, let's say DIC? Did they award you IU? Did they award you service connection for sleep apnea secondary to PTSD? Did they award you permanent and total, which is shown as chapter 35 on the rating decision, okay? That's what they're talking about. Awards. Denials. My left ankle claim condition is denied as secondary to my right ankle, okay? Denials. And then deferred issues, okay? Two things I want you to understand here. Denials. If you have a CMP exam, sometimes raters will put in the narrative section the medical opinion from the examiner. And then they'll put the examiner's reasoning for the negative opinion. I cannot tell you how many times I've had veterans read me the narrative section of their rating decision, and they'll read is less likely than not, and then they'll read the rationale, and they'll keep going. I'm like, wait a minute, do you know what we just read? And they're like, no. I'm like, that's the reason why that examiner said no therefore your claim is denied. Okay, so when you get this paperwork, as always, I tell veterans, make sure you read all of it and understand it. Now, the second thing, deferred issues. I think this is where some, not all RVSRs get very lazy. They do not tell the the veteran why they are deferring the claim. Okay, so whenever I defer something, if I need clarification from the C&P examiner, they didn't give me enough information to rate the claim, I would say this issue is being deferred for your latest VA C&P exam dated whatever date, clarification from the examiner. So you know, hey, this rater is going back out to that particular examiner for some type of clarification. Sometimes I will let them know what the clarification is, okay? That way, that puts the veteran's mind at ease opposed to something like this is being deferred for further development. I think that is a piss poor job, okay? And I never did that. I always want to make sure that veteran understood the deferral. All right, let's keep going. Slide number 2. Now we're staying here in the M21-1, and it states, showing reasons for denial of NSC conditions. NSC stands for non-service connected, okay? When a claim is initially disposed, the reasons for the denial are shown after the diagnosis on the rating code sheet. For example, not incurred, caused by service, all right? And then you have some other ones, willful misconduct. If you have that in your rating code sheet, it's something you probably don't have an honorable discharge, okay? I used to see that a lot when veterans would file a claim, they had like a dishonorable or bad conduct or something like that. Then it states not in the line of duty. When I used to see those, that would let me know it was for maybe a reserve or National Guard, okay? Now, I just showed you, talked about the rating decision, the decision section in the rating decision, if it's a grant or denial, we're talking about denials, and then how you identify it in the rating code sheet. Now, the NSC, not service-connected condition, on the rating code sheet should be at the very bottom, okay? Whether if you have 2 pages or 3 pages, it should be at the very bottom on that last page, okay? Now, let's get into some of the reasons for denials. Number 1, lack of current diagnosis. Now, back when I first started rating, when you filed a claim, you didn't need a diagnosis for me to obtain a C&P exam, okay? As long as I saw a link, meaning it was documented in service, complained about, there was a diagnosis, treatment, something like that. As long as that C&P exam came back with a diagnosis, I'm granting the benefit. Now, today, oh yeah, if I was doing it again, I'm getting a diagnosis. That way, if you are entitled to a C&P exam, that examiner can't say, oh, you don't have a diagnosis, because actually you do, okay? So you always want to make sure you have a diagnosis. If you're claiming it presumptive, have a diagnosis. If you're claiming it as pre-service aggravation, have a diagnosis. If you're claiming it direct service connection, guess what? Have a diagnosis. And guess what, people? What is the answer to, if you're filing it secondary, what do you need? A diagnosis, okay? That will hopefully prevent that examiner from saying, nope, you don't have a diagnosis, all right? Number 2, no service connection nexus. Missing or insufficient medical opinion linking your current condition to military service, okay? So we're talking about direct service connection, but we can also put this under pre-service aggravation or even secondary. Even with a diagnosis, you need a nexus statement showing at least as likely as not the condition is service connected. Now, a lot of veterans, they'll just submit a nexus statement. And they'll say, Dwayne, I got denied. And I'm like, where was the DBQ? Because the diagnostic code criteria for the rater to grant 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or all the way up to 100 It's not in the Nexus. It's in the DBQ, okay? Now, when I rate it, I guarantee you, most raters don't do this anymore. They're a different breed. I rated cases where veterans submitted Nexus statements. They were actually actionable and sufficient. So guess what I did? I still had to request a C&P exam, but I requested the C&P exam only to confirm the diagnosis and the residuals, so that would let me know, okay, do I grant 0, 30, 60, 70, 100%, okay? But I guarantee you today, these VSRs and RVSRs, if a veteran submits a Nexus, they're requesting a C&P exam, which they should, and they're asking for a medical opinion, even though they have one, all right? Let's keep going. Number 3, insufficient service treatment records, also known as STRs. No documentation in service medical records showing the condition began during service or evidence of the initial injury or event. Missing STRs make it harder to establish in-service occurrence. Now, when a veteran is claiming direct service connection, you need 3 elements: current diagnosis, link in service, this is what they're talking about, has to be confirmed, and a Nexus. Some veterans think, oh, because I wore the uniform, I wore a backpack, a rucksack, and did a bunch of road marches, and I got denied. 9 times out of 10, it needs to be documented somewhere in those records. So if you're missing those records, what can you use? You can use a buddy statement, okay? Someone that you serve with to confirm that the incident happened. You're asking the VA at that point concede that that incident happened, okay? Number 4, failure to report for a C&P examination. Veterans missed their scheduled compensation and pension exam without good cause. The VA can deny claims when veterans don't attend required medical examinations. Now, if you look at M21-1, they also talk about good cause. Life happens, things come up. Not only do you need to contact the VA at 800-827-1000 and let them know, hey, I can't report for the C&P exam. I've tried to get the third-party examination company to reschedule. They are refusing to do it. So I'm asking you to note, so the rater sees this, not to rate the case, but to go ahead and reschedule my C&P exam. And if you got proof showing good cause, maybe you got a surgery coming up, or you're going on vacation, you got your itinerary, anything like that, submit it, use the quick submit, okay? Submit it, it goes into your file. If you got the report for you calling in, and state the same thing on the VA form 21-4138, statement of support of claim, and you can submit that with the evidence, okay? Simple as that, people. Don't overthink it. Now, especially if the third-party C&P examination company does not want to reschedule, or they was like, oh, we'll let the VA know and they'll reschedule it, don't fall for that. Those companies, 9 times out of 10, what they're telling the VA is veteran failed to report. Veteran was a no-show. They still get paid, whether you show up or not, okay? So when you call an 800 number and you state exactly what I just informed you of, and you put it on a 4138 along with the evidence to support your good cause of not reporting, then the rater is going to know that third party company, they lied. Let me go ahead and reschedule this particular C&P exam, okay? So that covers some denial reasons. There are a lot more. I just gave you some of the few that I thought which was important. Now, that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and as always, share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.